Hi, everybody. Hi. I can see you all filtering in. Thank you so much for joining us today for our first session of the Mixed Media Sample Pack. I'm Kailey. In case you haven't seen me around, I'm a member of the design team here at Ecstasy Crafts. And today we are going to be working with the Pixie Powders. You should have got one in your mixed media sample pack. So if you want to play along with me, I'm going to be using a bunch of different colors, but you can kind of get the feel from just one. So there are 26 different Pixie Powder colors to choose from, and they're just a mix of the dry mica pearl and a dye mix for creating a shimmery, colorful effect. And you can use them on any porous surface, so paper, textiles, whatever you're working with. And they are all up online if you want to order them as we play along. And then we're also going to touch on, like, I know Jamie Rogers did an awesome tutorial on his new Pixie Sparkles. So those are all, they flew out of the shop when we first got them in, but don't worry, you can pre-order them now. We're getting a bunch back in, and they should, we're top of the priority list for getting them back in, and they should be back in anytime within the next 2 weeks. So get those on the pre-order if you want to get them in the store. Okay, so maybe we will dive right into it. Let's flip over to our overhead camera and we can start. I wanted to start off showing a little bit of a blending technique. So I'm just using a piece of watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to wet my paper. And I learned this trick from Jamie actually at CraftX, to spritz the back and then spritz the front so that it doesn't get all warped. You could see when I just spritz the one side, it starts to bend up. So I loved that idea. That helps balance things out a bit. And I'm just going to take a little watercolor brush. So I've spritzed both sides, and I just want to apply my water and get the cardstock wet. And then I'm going to I'm using Mango Blaze. I'm just going to create a little blended background here for us. So I'm going to kind of use it just like watercolor, and I'm going to mix it with some Candy Pink Pixie Powder. So a lot of them have just like one pigment in them, but then some have two. So the Mango Blaze and Candy Pink are just one pigment, but then I'll show you some samples later where, like for example, the Plum Twist has a really nice plum and blue pigment mixed both into one, so you can get it a bunch of different stuff. But these ones are perfect for doing watercolors with, and you can make, of course, all different kind of colors with very few Pixie powders. So we're going to blend these and make an orange and a pink, or an orange, yellow, and a pink to get our kind of like ombre background. I might as well leave the lids off. We're going to be here for a while. And then, so I'm just going to mix my orange, my kind of like middle color for our gradient, into that. I should have had a little water pourer, but this will work. Wow. Okay. So here we go. Let's make it exciting here, get some color going. So again, just making sure my background's nice and wet. And this is why you can do it on normal cardstock, but the watercolor paper really just helps things flow better. So I'm going to start on the bottom with my pink and just have a gorgeous color there. And you really can get so many different effects purely just by the amount of water and pigment that you use. So just a nice light pink, or we can really darken it up just by adding more of that pigment. And as it dries, you will be able to see the mica shimmer all through that, which is so nice. So I'm going to rinse my brush. You don't really need to. We're blending them all together. And then I'm going to go in and grab some of my orange, go across here. So this one's turning out really light. My water pour was not great, but you know what? I really love this kind of sunset effect. And that's my favorite part about pixie powders is like you get to be so artistic with it. There's no right or wrong way on how to use these guys. And there we have it, just gorgeous watercolor backdrop. So while it's still wet, we can then go in, like my cardstock is still wet, I can go in and spritz over top, and it just comes alive when you do that. So it gives you that effect. And again, this is going to change depending on how damp your paper is. So here's one where you can see my colors were a lot brighter. Here's one that I did, and my paper had dried before I kind of sprinkled the extra pixie powder on at the end. So then I had to go back in with my little spritzer and spritz over top, and that changes. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but that's where you get those like wet blotches from. So then we've got, whereas this was quite wet, and you can see it, just the beautiful kind of tie-dye effect there. And then here's a sample card I made up just using some of our fresh flower dyes from Marianne. And you can see, to me, this one turned out how I had envisioned it. And it is spritzed on when it's just slightly damp so that the pixie powders will stick and the mica's not going to shake right off when you're done. But it didn't kind of blur out so much like this one. So you can get such a different look just on the amount of water that you end up using. So I love, love, love the variations you can get with the pixie powders. So let's pop over and take a look. So we're going to do a slimline card. So this is actually, this one I've done previously, but it kind of turned out similar to that. So you can see it's like a tie-dye effect. So this was quite wet when I sprinkled on my extra pixie powder at the end, which I really liked. So we can take our little Marianne Fresh Flowers to the next level. And why don't we do a little watercolor on the flowers. So I'm just going to grab one, and so I bring in my teal wash. So I've only used three pixie powders, and here we're going to have a couple different colors already going on, or several different colors. So I'm just going to mix my mango and my teal wash together to make a little green so that I can, I don't know if that's even showing up on there, but so I can do the stem of my little fresh flower. We'll get some watercolor going on. And I don't need to add too much water. I'm just gonna, this might work better than dumping a bunch in. I don't know if I'll use the blue. Oh yeah, I will. I'll use it to fix up a little vase. How about? So this is from the same collection, just from Marianne, just a little vase. And I just want to do like a slight wash to make it look like I've got a little bit of water there in the bottom of my vase. And if you were watching on Craft X the other week, Anita showed off some of these cards on the Marianne demo, and you guys really liked it. So I thought I'd give you a little bit more detail on how we achieved that. So once that dries, we just go in with the same die cut out of vellum, and we just glue that on, and we get a really cute little vase going on. So there's that, a little bonus. Okay, so we've got our vase done. Now I've just mixed up a green with my teal wash and my mango. And let's see, I should have a scrap piece of paper here somewhere. There we go. Just make sure it's, you know, the right color. We can do whatever we want with it. That looks all right. So just go in and we will watercolor our leaves. Oh, I got a hair coming off my brush. There we go. And I really love these little watercolor brushes. They're the Aladdin watercolors brushes. Okay, so there we go. Like, I mean, even just the scraps of this product, guys, is gorgeous. You can cut that up and do anything with. Oh, the background colors you guys are asking for this. That's the same candy pink and the same mango blaze is what I use for both of these backgrounds. So it doesn't take much to just, you know, really make it beautiful. So where'd my scrap? I guess I shouldn't set that aside for another project. I still needed a scrap. Okay. So I'm going to just go in with a little touch of pink, my candy pink in there, and pop it up. So if you guys want a little info on some of these cards and the fresh flowers and everything, my teammate Sarah has a little info sheet. I'm not sure if it's gotten out to you yet or if it's on its way, but kind of the different techniques that we use to make these fresh flower cards. It's actually a little kit that we're putting together for our retail customers. So you guys can have a little inside look at how we're doing that. So just adding the pink in. Beautiful. And you know, you could go in with a little yellow, liven it up, mix it all up together. Or, you know, we could have done these purple, mix the pink and the blue. You know how to mix colors. You don't need me how to teach you that. Okay. Now, what should we do one more with that? I like the, oh, I don't know. Why am I so terrible? When I'm on the spot, I'm horrible with flower names. Crocus? I don't know what this is supposed to be. But what if we just do a little yellow in there with the stamen? So you get the idea, right? We can use it to create watercolor effects. But it's nice because especially if you're building kits for your customers or working on projects, it's like you can do the whole background and the whole feature of the card using the same product, right? So there we go. We'll add a little bit of our green on for our stem. And easy peasy, we're done. So we turn that into a card using our little vellum vase, all of our fresh cut flowers painted up, a little stamp. This is one from Frog's Whiskers that I love. Very versatile again, and beautiful card. I've actually added a little extra interest to the background, and it sounds stupid, but like this is also from the pixie powders, those black circles. I just took some ink, black ink, I'm using VersaFine, and used the bottom of the pixie powder bottle to stamp little circles on, which is fun. And then I actually went in and added a little texture over top with just some craft glue. And I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but I did some little pearls just with clear craft glue and went around the ring. So it looks like, you know, the vase was set down here and there. And I really liked that look. So you can do lots with these little guys. Now what? Now what? I guess I could show you another background with the pixie powders. Oh no, I've got ink now on my thing. There we go. Clean that up. So to create a little smeared background, again, same watercolor technique. We created a colored green background, just brushing pretty well like this, brushing the pixie powder around to create our very, very background color that we layered underneath. And then we just created a smear across here. So I will show you how I did that. And I went in with a little bit, oh, this is gonna be a mess, layered on top of one another. Okay, so I went in Again, this is still using, I should have been showing off more colors, I guess, but I just want you to see how much you can get from, you know, each color gives you so much. So I went in with my cardstock and I just used, this is the Hefty Doodle low tack tape, just to create a little bit of a mask and make a little bit of a frame, just because I want, you know, the focus to be here. And let's see, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do that on there. We'll do it right on there. Okay. Now this is fun. We can take our color and I'm just going to pile it onto my mat and get some green and blue. I mean, that would have mixed together anyways, but whatever. Now we've really got it mixed up. And so I'm flipping it over. I've got everything blocked off where I don't want it. And I'm just going to smear it across my mat. And again, it's going to darken up the more color you add, or the more pixie powder you have. Whereas you can see this one was, I had a lot more on my mat, and you can see the nice mica that's picked up in there. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous. So again, you can go back in and say like, oh, I want a few more dots up there, or smear it around, do whatever you want. It really is quite flexible. And if you want a little bit more, okay, no big deal. There we go. And it is helpful to have a heat tool while you're working with this, so that you can dry it up right away so that it doesn't run if you have a little bit too much water on there or what have you. So a nice little part thing, half background to build your little scene on. Okay, now, oh, here's another one that I did. I just picked up the scraps after I was working on a project and taped this off using the same technique and just swiped across, and that's what you get. And it's just, even the scraps are beautiful. So much to build upon for different cards. And like that, to me, inspires me in like a mermaid direction, or, you know, summer festival kind of style. So yes, that was still with watercolor paper. Thanks to my producer. I saw that question. Still watercolor paper. It will work with just regular white cardstock, but this is actually the Creative Expressions watercolor paper. I love that stuff for this purpose. So now, oh, I want to show you how fun it is. I mean, we're not wasting anything here, guys. Here, I just have another sheet of watercolor or a scrap piece of cardstock or whatever you've got. Well, there's a lot of water in these bad boys. I don't know about this. Okay, here we go. And look at, oh my goodness. It's just so much fun and freeing to work with this stuff. And the colors blend so nicely, and you can create gorgeous abstract art with it. Here's another one from when I was doing more blues and purples. From the same three colors, all of that rainbow came, obviously, again, using less water, but there. So it's so much fun. Even your cleanup is another art project. So now I want to show you, clear a little bit of this out of the way. I want to show you what I was talking about. I mentioned how some of them have different colors in the same pack. So the Firework Burst is a great example of that, of the different colors in the, get a fresh-ish craft mat on there, that has the different colors of pigment in the same bottle. So you don't have to mix a whole bunch. So why don't we? I'll show you a little stencil technique. So I've got my watercolor paper again, And this is one of the Art by Marlene stencils. If you want it, it is Mask BM08. If you know, that's something you're after. I think we have a few left. So I've got my stencil on there. I'm not going to really worry about, you know what? I will spritz the back of my paper. I'm going to listen to Jamie Rogers, spritz the back of my paper so it doesn't start to get all curled up on me. Okay. And then spritz the front so we don't end up with too many issues. Now, take a look at this one. This fireworks burst is just very impressive. If you're doing it for demos, I highly recommend this one. So, looks pretty black, boring, whatever. So I'm just lightly, you can get a couple, I don't know if the camera picks up the like light little puffs of the powder that come out when I do like that, or you can shake it and get kind of more of the splatter effect. Again, just play around with it, try out different things. Okay, so we shake that on there. Now, this is where it gets impressive. Where's my little mister? So I have these little mister bottles, which I like. They get a lot of water on the paper really quick, but then this one is a little bit finer. So if for this, when you're going to be spraying the dry powder, I recommend the finer spray. Okay, so here we go. Here's the exciting part. I'll get my thing coming through the tube and make sure it's not pointed at yourself. Oh, is it not going to go? Come on. That's not a very good example. Oh, because that one was empty. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's my fresh one. Here we go. Now, as I add the water, you can see all the pigment activating in there. So we've got blues and purples and reds and greens. There's yellow in there, really just coming alive. So we could leave it at this stage. We could add more water, however much. You can leave it more speckled or really get kind of like a underwater style. So this is all just spritzed on top of our stencil and just beautiful. So many different colors all in one pixie powder. Gorgeous. Now, before we remove our stencil, I'm going to get a little extra out of here. So I've got another sheet. I'm going to plop it on top and soak up all of that extra. So that's going to take up any of the pigment that was on top of the stencil that we used. And let's peel it back and see. So we've got that effect, which is super gorgeous. We get to see all of our different colors. Now we can go in. I mean, there's still some there that we could continue to clean up to create, you know, slightly different looking things. I mean, you could do this with not just white on the background, right? You could have already added watercolor on there or pixie powder, you know. Okay, so now we're going to take the stencil off. So this is the reverse, the marks of the actual plastic on the stencil. And now we'll peel it. And then there's our main piece. So we can create beautiful backgrounds that way. Honestly, with this one, I think I like this one more. So pretty. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so here's another one that I used the same teal wash and the mango blaze. Looks quite different, you know, just using the different colors. And then you can use it as a full piece, or you can cut it up